Everything starts with an idea. And I firstly want to congratulate you and welcome you to 5 simple steps to build a wildly successful baking business from home. And for having that idea that you want to do something different, that you want to be a change maker, you want to contribute in a new way, and taking action on it. So I'm going to share with you the simple steps that I've taken to build a wildly successful baking business from home to hopefully inspire you along the way on your journey with your amazing vision and ideas. So let's get started. So, first of all, welcome. I really am so glad you're here. And if you're watching the replay, welcome to you as well. The next step after this webinar is to book a free call with me or the Primal Alternative sales team. I've had to bring on some people to help me with the calls now because we're just getting so many people interested in starting this business, which is amazing. So when you book your call now, you'll either get to speak to me, Helen Marshall, the founder of Primal Alternative. You'll get to speak to a real life primalista, which is really cool. I've also got Suze, who is my old recruitment buddy from 20 years ago, and she's incredible. She loves the Primal Alternative vision, fully understands how it all works. So now that just means that we can offer call times on evenings, weekends, and every day of the week, which is super cool. So the purpose of the free 30-minute call is to get clear on what you're looking for and to see if the Primalista license can even help. It's also to see if you're a good fit for Primal Alternative. We'll share the details of the license with you, answer your questions, and if it's a good fit, we can offer you the opportunity to join us. So the action I'd love you to take after this info session is to head to primalalternative.com/call to take things to the next step. All right. I'd also love you to stick around until the end as well, because I can't wait to share the bonuses currently on offer. Wait till you hear about the baking starter kit. Plus, there's a special door prize for one lucky live attendee today. Now, as you can probably guess, this is live. It's not one of those, evergreen webinars where they pretend it's live. It's live. And we might have a few technical hiccups along the way, but that's okay because that's life, right? So you're interested in starting a bake from home business with Primal Alternative? How exciting. It's one of the best decisions you'll ever make. Now, before we dive into the 5 simple steps, let me introduce myself to you. So I'm a primal living expert with a qualification as a primal health coach with over 30 years experience in the health and wellness industry, starting with teaching aerobics when I was 14 years old. I'm a speaker and I've appeared as a guest on over 25 wellness podcasts. I've spoken at key wellness events across the country, and I've had my own food as medicine health transformation. Now, I would love for you in the chat box to let me know if you are here, if you're into this way of living because of a health crisis yourself. So let me know in the chat box. The Primal Alternative brand has been established for 7 years. It's actually the month of the idea anniversary. So nearly, I think I was trying to work it out this morning, 8 years since I hatched the idea. I think it might be 7, 7, maybe 6. I'll have to refresh my mind with my diary. But it's about that period of time-ish since I had the idea to create the Primal Alternative license, right? So the license is in its 5th year. The brand's been going for 7 years. And this model's been successfully replicated in 4 countries across the world. We've got 33 streamlined products across 4 different product lines with over 400 stockists. This is the world's leading bake from home business. There's nothing else like this out there. Like, this is the thing you didn't know existed. Am I right? And it's helped over 220 people like you get started in their own Primal Alternative business. Now, each one of these primalistas had different motivations for starting their own business. What are yours? Let me know in the chat box. So you can just find the chat box, 3 buttons, ... more, click chat. Tell me, what's your why? What gave you the idea to turn up for this webinar today? Is it because you've lost the passion for your 9 to 5 and need to make a change? Maybe you've started a family and want to make some extra money from home. Would you like to build a side hustle doing something you enjoy? Maybe you've always been interested in becoming your own boss, but just never found the right thing or never got something off the ground. Maybe you haven't achieved the career goals you set out for yourself, or maybe you did, but then you found it was a bit unfulfilling, or all of the above. So whatever your reasons are, let me know them in the chat box. Just write the numbers, whatever's relevant to you. And I just want to let you know you're definitely in the right place. I'm going to share with you the exact steps that you can take to build a freedom-based business, baking delicious food from your very own kitchen. Now, before we move on to the next step, be really honest with me here and let me know what's stopping you from moving forward. Now, these are the sorts of things we'll dive into a little bit more on the Primalista call as well. But is it money constraints, time constraints, lack of know-how, family duties, current job restraints, or my favorite, fear, self-doubt, or lack of confidence? Thank you, Hillary. So Hillary says she's worked 24 years in a not-for-profit, but it's closed down. She's been at home for the last year or so and looking for a new direction. Very interested in creating wellness. Awesome. Kath wants to work from home and give up her current job. Oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling well. All right. Now, the method I'm going to outline has worked time and time again. So you don't need to worry about whether you have what it takes to be successful. You don't need to stress over where you should begin, whether you have the right sales and marketing skills, whether you can create a product people like enough to pay money for it, because I already know you do have what it takes. And I celebrate you for taking the first huge step by showing up, right, and watching this webinar today. Thank you for joining me. All you need is a little guidance and support on your journey, and you'll be able to achieve your goals in no time. I've created this webinar to help make your path to success as simple and straightforward as possible. And the Primalista license is just going to get you from A to B quicker than if you started a brand from scratch yourself. So Beck's saying, due to lockdown, her work's getting postponed and cancelled. I'm speaking to women like you every day. It's crazy. I spoke to a wonderful woman the other day in Sydney in the really restricted areas, and she's been trying to start up a furniture business, you know, revamping, recycling furniture, doing that sort of shabby chic look, you know, and just selling on Facebook. And she just can't sell anything because, you know, she can only go to customers within the 5K radius, which is so sad. But with food, luckily, you get to go out of the 5K radius. So it's funny how this model has brought itself into manifestation and into the world now. Yeah, it seems to be a very suitable model for these current situations that we're in. All right, you are about to discover the exact steps you can take to build a successful baking business from home, what you absolutely must do if you want to grow your side hustle into a full-time business, how to choose the right equipment to ensure you bake super tasty restaurant quality food at home, and the most common mistakes new business owners make and why half fail in their first 3 years. And in about 60 minutes time, you'll have all the information you need to begin your journey as a Primalista and grow your own super successful baking business from the ground up. Let me be specific and say that during this webinar, I'm going to be demonstrating how you can build your bake at home business with the Primalista license. All right, let's get started. All right, baking your own successful, building your own, you could bake it if you like. Building your own successful baking business from home can be a daunting thought. I'm not going to lie, at times it will be challenging. You'll need to roll up your sleeves and put in the hard work. But achieving success can be a lot more manageable when you break down the process into smaller stages, right? So I've condensed everything you need to know into 5 easy to follow steps. What have I got on the next page? Oh yeah, okay. Just making sure I haven't skipped any slides or missed anything out. Okay, come up with a plan. A plan is absolutely vital if you're going to succeed in baking from home, right? To start off, you're going to need to decide what type of baking business you want to create. So ask yourself, what do you want to sell? Who do you want to sell it to? Primal Alternative is made up of 4 streamlined product lines: ready-made bread, pizza bases, wraps, cookies, pastries, and jellies, and granola. The packet mixes, which are a dry version of our ready-made products with the same great profit margin, but with a longer shelf life. Winning. Where are we? Okay, yep, okay. We recently launched our Whole Foods range, so think co-op, where Primalistas can also sell on their bulk ingredients to customers. There is a short list of food that you can bake from home. To bake from home, your products need to be low risk. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Low risk and not I told you it was live, and not potentially hazardous. All Primal Alternative products have been lab tested, and our food safety program shows evidence that they are low risk, which is super helpful for when you're getting your approvals from council. As a food producer, deciding which products to choose can be a difficult task. When I first started, I really wanted to do everything, right? I was making meals with meat in them, bone broths, nut milk, as well as breads, cookies, pizzas, and jellies. And even though being told I could only produce low-risk foods from home, because I didn't want to go from home, right? I didn't want a commercial kitchen. I wanted to be here with the kids. It felt like a kick in the guts at the time, right? But really, it was a blessing. And as my husband said, focus on nailing a small range of products and get known for doing that well. So if you haven't already, check out the product range page on the Primal Alternative website and have a good look at the products. If I go through them all now, you guys are going to get hungry, right? So as a Primalista, you can choose and bake what you sell. So if you've got a vegan niche or a low carb niche, you can choose to follow, you can be niche, right? You can also get to choose where you want to sell to and how much time you want to devote to your business. Yes, you can go gangbusters and bake 5 days a week, but most Primalistas want to start out small and build it up over time. So keeping it streamlined and niche is the key to long-term success. Too many diverse products will soon leave you feeling disillusioned and burnt out. So there are a few reasons I believe healthy alternatives are the best choice. Healthy, convenient alternatives as well, especially right now where these healthy, convenient foods can jump off the shelf. Yeah, they're not in a locked up, health food shop somewhere or in the freezer somewhere. You can make them from your kitchen and get them to people directly with contactless delivery. You're baking safely isolated from home, okay? But this market is definitely growing, right? Many Aussies have lost faith in the big supermarket brands. In fact, according to a survey by market research experts PlayMR, 59% of people believe that natural products meet their dietary requirements much better than regular supermarket food. I agree with that stat. Do you? Most supermarket aisles are laden with Food comprised of 3 key ingredients: wheat, dairy, and sugar. On top of that, 45% said the range of natural food options in the supermarket is insufficient. So there's definitely space to enter the market. Do you think there's a growing market? What do you think? Where am I? Oh, there we are. Oh, look, there's all of our product range. Ta-da! I think my slides have got mixed up. Or my brain cells have. What do you reckon? All right. Is there a growing market for people seeking grain-free, healthy alternatives to comfort staples like bread? I say yes. What do you say? Let me know in the chat box. With the growing rise in varying dietary requirements, there is a growing market for healthy homemade alternatives. So where could you sell your Primal Alternative products to? Let's brainstorm this one in the chat group. First of all, have a think about where you shop. You are an ideal Primal Alternative customer. You know, you hear about you should get to know your ideal customer avatar if you want to do well in your business. Well, that's an easy one. Just think about what you like and what's important to you, because you already understand the customer journey, which makes this whole sales process a lot easier as well. So these are the places that Primal Alternative has sold well in the past. And definitely over the last 2 years, we are doing a lot more direct sales through, Facebook groups, buy, swap and sell groups, Facebook Marketplace, Instagram. Most Primalistas have got their own online shop or are making sales directly from their own Facebook page as well. So, farmers markets, most of them are still going ahead. Some shops are shut down. So we're focusing a lot more now on getting that food security and also Primalista's income security sorted by selling direct. So Hillary says we're on our own personal journey of finding new products to substitute the ones we've been using. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Jordan Pye says, she's one of my favorite nutritionists. She said, just because the ingredients change, the food doesn't have to. I was like, yes, that sums that up really nicely, doesn't it? And that's the other key thing of being a Primalista. You will have a freezer full of nutrient-dense, convenience, grabbable food at cost price. So there's no excuses. You won't be falling off the wagon anymore. You'll all improve on your health as well. All right. So on the call, when you have your Primalista call, we'll ask you where you're planning on selling your Primal Alternatives products to. And you'll want to come up with at least 3 potential places that aren't already being stocked by another Primalista. And don't worry, there are endless potential stockists and customers. Start by making a note on your phone of places you spot when you're out and about. I literally walk down the street saying, there's a potential stockist, there's another. And there's no geographical territory as a Primalista, which is a good thing because it means you really get to be the boss of how big you want to grow your business without being a slave to every stockist in a certain postcode. Primalistas' existing stockists are protected as other Primalistas cannot approach an existing Primal Alternative stockist. Not that you'd want to anyway, right? The thing I hear the most on a call from potential Primalistas is that they don't want to step on anyone's toes. This collaborative ethos works in real life as all Primalistas charge the same price and agree in the license agreement to source their own stockists. It's actually a real bonus to have a few Primalistas in your area, as you'll have someone to cover for you when you're sick or on holiday, someone to share bulk orders with or do big events, or someone to have a cuppa with locally who actually gets it. And secondly, job satisfaction. Baking healthy food is amazing. What do I mean? It feels fantastic to help people improve their health and wellness through food. And at the end of the day, you can lie your head down on the pillow knowing that what you do benefits your community. Plus, it's so much easier to sell something that you actually believe in. If you've got a love for clean eating and healthy living, then baking yummy, nutritious food is the way to go. If this corona crisis has given us anything, it's the time to reevaluate what's really important. On call after call, I'm hearing from people who are in jobs that they could do stood on their head, but they feel so unfulfilled. Or work is taking them away from their families and home. They've been at the mercy of the boss and been at the threat of being stood down. Or like Beck said, work's getting postponed and cancelled. So that concludes step 1. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and I'm going to answer every single one. All right. Next step, taking care of the paperwork. Pauses for sip of coffee. It's gone a bit cold now. Still nice though. All right. As exciting as it is to start your own business, there are some tedious tasks you have to take care of before you get to the fun part. But don't worry, because I will guide you through each one of these steps, step by step, completely. It will be easy to do. So you'll need to register your business. So you need to apply for an Australian business number, which is a unique number that identifies your business to the government, as well as other people you do business with, such as your suppliers and stockists. You'll need to create a brand name. So your brand name will promote recognition of your product in the community. When customers see a product that features your brand, they'll know what to expect. Your Primal Alternative business, the suggestion is that you'll call it Primal Alternative by Hillary, or Primal Alternative by Beck, or Primal Alternative by Kath, or Primal Alternative by, you get it, right? Primalistas don't have geographical territories, so definitely keep the location out of your business title. There's just too many things to remember in one thing. You'll need to get your food business license to bake from home. Your kitchen needs to be inspected by your local environmental health officer, and you'll need a food business registration before you start baking. Surfaces usually need to be sealed, and ingredients need to be stored in rodent-free containers, usually plastic. I created the Primalista license so you could get started in your own food business quicker than if you started from scratch all on your own. Today, I wanted to share a bit more about this cool tool, our food safety program, because it's one of the biggest assets to help you with your food business registration. Now, unfortunately, I did have a little video walking you through it, but I've had a few technical glitches and I can't show you it today. However, I did post a 6-minute video on Instagram yesterday, which sort of gives you an inside look at this food safety program here. But essentially, what it does, it proves that the Primal Alternative products are low risk and not potentially hazardous, and gives you everything your environmental health officer wants to see, and also gives you everything you need to know to be safe, including personal health and hygiene, food handling skills, how to receive and store your ingredients, how to transport and package, and what happens if you need a product recall or customer service protocol. It's an awesome document that I've prepared with food technologists, environmental health officers, and a heap of lab results. And I can't wait for you to check it out when you become a Primalista. Now, a lot of potential Primalistas are concerned about applying for their food business registration and are convinced that their council is the worst and their daggy old kitchen isn't going to pass, right? However, in a recent Primalista survey, nearly 80% of Primalistas said getting council approval was a fairly straightforward process. It can be common to get an initial no if you call your EHO on the hop. You'll have a much better result when you go about it the right way and give the environmental health officer the information you're looking for. And besides, you can lean on me personally and our awesome community of Primalistas who've already been approved if you have any funky questions. So the food business registrations have been granted in all states and territories in Australia, Yorkshire in the United Kingdom, the South Island of New Zealand, Idaho, Tennessee, Wyoming, and Florida in the USA. It's truly turning into a global business. All right. And the final part on the paperwork is organizing insurance. Product and public liability insurance is vital for anyone baking from home. I don't know if you've noticed, but there has been a big rise in people who are selling food products on Facebook. Have you seen it? I mean, I don't blame these people, but they're doing it without insurance. They're doing it without a food business license. And also the environmental health officers, EHOs, have been telling us that they're inundated with food business licenses. So everybody is realizing that this is a surefire way to have a little business from home, but it's really important to set yourself above these people coming into the market and do it properly. So insurance is going to protect you in the event somebody is harmed by one of your products. For example, if they get sick after eating something you baked. Now, that's obviously something no one ever expects to happen, but you need to be covered in the unlikely event that it does. Which insurer you go with is a personal choice. I recommend doing an online search and comparing prices, as well as what's covered before taking out a policy. Primalista Chicken is an insurance broker and almost in her 5th year with Primal Alternative. So she's helped out most of our Aussie Primalistas with their insurance. That's who I go with. It's too easy, which is super easy. All right, so we've done the paperwork. Now comes the fun part. It's time to turn on your food processor, whip out your apron. Need more coffee? Send more coffee. And get baking. And no, a Thermomix is not essential, although it is a good excuse to buy one as it's a business expense. But seriously, I recommend starting with what you currently mix your cakes with. Some Primalistas just use bowls and electric whisks. I briefly want to explain how I created the recipes. So back in 2014, I suffered a health crisis. So I ditched grains, sugar, and seed oils in favor of whole foods, sunshine, sleep, and nature. The results were incredible. I felt more focused and full of energy than I had ever done, and it continues to go. But before that, eating healthily and mostly organically, I was a victim of the food pyramid. And this was my long list of disasters. I couldn't cope with much more than doing the laundry and stressing about what to cook for dinner. That was it. Didn't go very far and was just completely consumed with dark thoughts day in and day out. Wasn't much of an existence. Can anyone relate to that? It still makes me get choked up thinking about it. But anyway, the story is positive. Shortly after, I became a primal health coach. That's me. To help others reclaim their quality of life by making simple diet and lifestyle changes. But people found the lifestyle difficult to follow. They couldn't go without comforting staples like bread, pizza, cookies, and pastry. Becky's saying, yes! Right, I know, right? You're not on your own. I thought I was the only person in the world that felt like this, and now I know millions of people the same, which is a relief. And to be honest, put your hand up honestly. If you can't live without pizza, bread, cookies, and pastry, come on, be honest. I cannot. And I had to master Primal Alternative to the foods that we loved because my husband, Mike, told me we weren't going to go paleo without cookies, right? So I took our family favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe, swapped out the margarine for organic butter, swapped out the self-raising flour for almond meal, the white sugar for coconut sugar, and the horrible supermarket cooking chocolate for 70% organic dark chocolate chips. The resulting cookie was sensational, right? It was way better than the original, and it left us feeling amazing. And we've eaten a batch of these cookies every week for 7 years, and we're all in vibrant health. And Beck, she says, I try so hard, but no, we love all of those types of foods. We do. It's true, Hillary, and we don't need to deprive ourselves because humans just don't do. If you say to someone, you can't eat that, all you want to do is eat that, right? It's just human nature. So just don't try and fight deprivation with willpower. Just find a primal alternative and enjoy your life. So I knew after I'd done the cookies, I knew I needed to master a pizza and a bread. And to be honest, I found primal baking much easier. No kneading, proving, rising, or any sticky dough to clean up with afterwards. Just chuck it all in the mixer and bake it. Faff-free baking, as I like to say. Faff-free, as in fuss-free, not fat-free, right? So there were many fails along the way. Check out my Insta stories. It still happens. You'll see me feeding the chickens I'm trying a new bread recipe and it just keeps failing. Luckily, my chucks eat it all up and they swap me for eggs. So that works out really well. So luckily, we've got chickens to feed the failed recipes too. And I screwed up on pricing too initially, right? Selling for less than cost price as I didn't know how to cost a product. And I nearly got tripped up on what to call the brand, what color I was going to use, which fonts, all the stuff that really presents as a massive hurdle for any wannabe food producer or business owner. But all of the hard work, grain-free chucks too. Yeah, no, they get some grain too, don't worry. Don't worry. So yeah, all the hard stuff is being taken care of with the Primalista license, right? So there's no need for you to reinvent the wheel. Now, I would love to show you how simple the Primal Alternative recipes are. You don't need a catering or a chef background to become a Primalista. The recipes are just simply measure, mix, and bake. We can crank out many products in a short space of time. And also, the loaves are smaller than a regular loaf and not sensitive to opening and closing the oven door, unlike conventional baking. So we can fit 12 loaves in the oven at once. You're only going to need a domestic oven. And whether you've got a 600 or a 900 oven, both are as good as each other. So I'm going to show you now. I hope you can hear this all right. Because technical dramas. Let's have a look at a pizza demo. Let's make pizza bases. So I'm going in first of all with the cashew nut milk. Then I'm going in with my egg. Then I am going to add the grain-free baking powder. And now in with the salt. Don't forget the coconut oil. So I'm just going to take that off the thermomix and just scrape down the sides of the bowl. And just going to mix again, speed 5, 30 seconds. And then you're going to take your pizza tray and pop it onto the scales. So once you've measured it, I like to take it off the scales and then just spread it around using your spatula. So the pizzas are all done. So again, we want to take them off the tray straight away. And we're going to put them in the bag like this. And again, one last cuddle, squeezing the air out of the bag. And put the ladle in the center. And there you go. Yes, that's me in the kitchen with a crazy hairnet on. Don't want to watch it again though. Okay, thank you. All right. So Primal Alternative has had the benefit of some serious industry leaders like paleo chef Pete Evans, Quirky Cooking's Joe Whitten, Cindy O'Meara, Mark Sisson, Helen Patterin, Alex Stewart, the natural nutritionist Steph Lowe, Jordan Pieface, and many, many more endorsing the brand to make Primal Alternative a well-known, liked, and trusted brand for you to benefit from. Perfecting the recipes only takes probably like one try before you're ready to sell. And you'll need to adapt the baking time to your oven, as all ovens are different. You may find the odd recipe trickier than others, but you will find heaps of tips from other Primalistas in our Facebook group to help you along the way. Blue beret. Is that for me, Beck? I'm not sure what that means, but that's okay. All right, getting ready to sell. And again, I had a lovely video for you here of our amazing brochures, but the videos wouldn't work. It was just a black screen, and I had to close down PowerPoint and opened it up again, and it decided to do a million updates. Yeah. Anyway, once you've perfected your recipes, it's time to look for avenues to sell your products. For baked goods, one of the most effective methods is selling via stockists, a business that stocks and sells your product for a percentage of the profits. You'll have identified some of those on the call with me or the calls team, and now it's time to approach them. This can be super daunting, and let me know in the chat group if you find sales terrifying. And a lot of primalistas love baking, but they just don't see themselves as salesy. Let me assure you that you do not need to be a sleazy salesperson, right? Thank goodness. You just need to tell people about your products, also known as marketing, and make offers. Easy. Products that you can touch and taste are much easier than a concept or a service sell. And plus, we don't have minimum order quantities. So even though not every potential customer or stockist will say yes, it's easy to get most of them to give us a go. Stockists really value local producers, and customers value supporting local too, which is another win we've got over a non-local brand. So don't think of sales as bad. A business without sales is just a hobby. Everybody is in sales, even high school teachers, right? They have to sell to the students to make them be interested in why they should learn that topic, right? So instead of worrying about how you're going to come across, why not think about what's in it for your customers? Think of how you're helping them and making a difference in their health, and that will help you push through that door, right? When you get access to the Primalista resources, you'll find some super helpful tools that will help you secure your first few customers, including our fabulous brochures. You'll also need to implement a marketing strategy to build your brand and reach your customers. You could look at starting a social media channel, building a website, and setting up branded signage for a market stall. In the Primalista resources, you'll find over 500 professionally taken photos to use in your marketing, as well as social media prompts, so some ideas, and some social media tiles like customer reviews. Like, there's enough content in there to keep you busy for at least a year. Primalistas are producing super content all the time as well, and you can share the love and repost their content too. One strategy that many primalistas find successful is influencer marketing. This is where you approach a social media influencer and offer to give them some products to try in return for an endorsement, if they authentically like the product, of course. Think of it like digital word of mouth. And if they have a lot of loyal followers, that word will spread quickly. There's also some really awesome, brand new, since I wrote this webinar, some really awesome Primalista sales training, as well as a script to read and a cheat sheet to take into when you go and approach a stockist as well, which is really cool. Step 5, look how we're smashing through this. Buy your equipment and ingredients and start baking. All right. So you're ready to start baking and selling your products. You will already have a lot of what you need in your kitchen, and I recommend a lean startup. Don't get shiny object syndrome. Keep it basic so you can start earning money in your business quicker. Here's an outline of where to buy ingredients and equipment. So it can be very tempting to go out and purchase an entire kitchen's worth of equipment when you're starting out, but I recommend taking it easy so your startup costs aren't too high. You can always purchase more equipment later on once you start making some money. To get started, make a list of the necessary equipment and work out what you don't have. Then visit homeware stores or large chain stores such as Kmart or Spotlight to get what you need. Wait till I tell you about the baking starter kit as well in a little while. That's not on the website. So I've created a list here for you to have a bit of a rough idea, but you'll also find this on the Primalista resources, right? A common mistake of bake from home business owners is that they spend too much money up front on shiny new equipment. And I'm not saying you shouldn't invest some money to ensure you have an adequate startup. You should, But it's a small idea to start small and add more pieces as you go. The truth is that if you have the right recipes, you can bake delicious restaurant quality food from your own kitchen without needing top of the line equipment. A clever way to reduce your upfront costs is to narrow down the variety of products you start with. That means you'll need fewer pieces of equipment. As you begin to earn money, you can expand your range and buy the necessary labels to bake more products. The exact equipment you will need for your business will depend on the type of food you're baking. To give you an idea, here is a list of equipment I recommend for new Primalistas and how much each item costs. So for ingredients, we've already found the best suppliers in Australia to source your bulk ingredients and cut down your costs and ensure you always have quality ingredients to bake with. Purchase your dry ingredients in bulk from a supplier on our supplier comparison spreadsheet, which you'll find on the resources page, and other ingredients like butter, eggs, honey, and veggies from local suppliers like farmers, health food shops, or supermarkets. Organizing your equipment and ingredients is the final action you need to take to set up your business. With everything in place, your business registered, your supply chain sorted, your stockists ready to sell, and your marketing attracting customers, you'll be ready to start baking and make your first sale. How is this all sounding? Let me know in the Chittity Chat group. Oh, blueberry, my hairnet's blueberry. Yes, much better than a hairnet. Thank you, Beck. Gives a little bit of a French appeal. Now, if you think this all sounds too difficult to accomplish on your own, don't worry. You can always look for help to make your life easier on yourself and increase your chances of success. That's why a Primal Alternative license comes with so many resources and support to help guide you every step of the way. We can help you set up your business, give you the recipes, provide marketing and sales training and templates, and give you a list of suppliers and stockists to source ingredients and sell your products. I've never had a Primalista fail to make a sale. And 75% of them achieve this milestone within their first month. To give you an idea of what you can expect when you become a Primalista, I've included a couple of testimonials from our Primalistas and videos. Hopefully they're going to work this time. So Primalista Amy, she's my Primalista. Love you, Amy. Thank you for keeping me in amazing food. Can't get enough of that chocolate granola. She says, having only started not quite 2 months ago, I've been blown away with how instant the cash flow was. So we've got some case studies for you here. So Primalista Rosie, you might get to speak to her on Primalista Call. She's in her 4th year now, actually. Her business turns over 70,000. She bakes 3.5 days a week, and she has 6 weeks annual leave to be with her lovely son, River. Now, this nearly brought me to tears when she first, we don't do sales reporting, right? So Primalist, I don't know if they want to tell me, right? And they do, because they're so proud of what they've achieved and want to celebrate with me, and I love it. But when Rosie said to me, I think I need to register for GST next financial year, H, and she told me this, I was like nearly crying with excitement, because Primalista Rosie is earning what my tradie, my husband, is a chippy. He earns about 73,000, his business turns over 73,000 a year. Obviously, some of that is, materials and expenses. And he works 5 days a week, and you'd be lucky to get him to take 2 weeks off at Christmas. Do you know what I'm saying? Self-employed tradies, you know what they're like. And she's doing that in 3.5 days and 6 weeks annual leave. Yes. Here's a little video from our Rosie. Now, before, I couldn't get the video to work, but just the sound would. So, fingers crossed.
Knew immediately that I wanted to do Primal Alternative as soon as I heard about it and read a little bit about it. I knew that I could do it. And the reason being is that everything, like all the startup things were, all the bits and pieces, all the legalities, all the technicalities are already done. If I had to start from scratch, if I had to do the logo and the deal with council by myself, or even knowing that you have to deal with the council, I would not have had the confidence to do it. If I was to say, so I didn't have a dream of having my own business. I knew before I started Primal Alternative that I knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. I knew that I wasn't aligned with the profession I was in, but I didn't know how to get out of it. And then Primal Alternative gave me this amazing, incredible reason and path to get to move from where I was to where I wanted to be. And I knew that I wanted to be with Primal Alternative. I knew that I could do it. I just, like I said, if I'd had to do it all by myself, I would not. I would have really struggled to overcome the feeling of the lack of confidence in myself.
All right. And I've also got for you Primalista Shah. She's also on the Primalista Calls team. You might get to talk to her when you book your call. She's in her second year. I need to update my slides. Her business turns over 45,000. She bakes 2 days a week and she takes 10 weeks annual leave. Let's hear from Shah. Come on. See, I told you I was having problems with this, didn't I?
Start
there we go.
Relationships with a couple of good stockers, and really when I first started I thought I would need 5 or 7 or 10 stockers, but I put 2 and they keep me plenty busy to do 2.5 to 3 days a week if you take into consideration the admin that goes along with running a business yourself and the deliveries, etc. But I think you start to build a good relationship with your suppliers, and it just becomes a repetitive business. So I've got a supplier who's incredible. It's an online organic farmers market that they don't just purchase or order the products from me. They market the hell out of my products and out of me, and they'll showcase stuff about me or about the product, and I think my first order with them in the first week was 100 different products. So I think building that relationship with people and with other groups, especially in businesses where it's about developing women and women working together, that will translate into the income that you're looking to get. So just from the stockist on 1 day work a week, I basically earn more than what I ever did working in the corporate environment in 1 day. So if you took a day-by-day comparison, so...
Oh, that's that. All right. Okay. So look, I've got dozens of success stories from other primalistas, which you can read over on the Primal Alternative website, but you get the point, right? These women were in a similar position to where you are now. They wanted to start their own business, but they weren't exactly sure how to go about it. They found Primal Alternative. They fell in love with the yummy, healthy recipes and the simple, proven approach to building a successful baking business. And they now earn a living baking scrumptious food from their kitchen. All right. So what you must do if you want to grow your side hustle into a full-time business, charities. Hillary says, I really like the idea. It's just lining up all my ducks in a row to make it happen. Yes, to have the network, not only you, and the Primalista network, it's very supportive. It's like one of the most supportive places on the internet. And don't worry too much about getting all your ducks in a row before you book a Primalista call, Hillary, because that's what we do on the call. It's very much a strategy session. We dive deep, uncovering everything you want to do, everything that's holding you back, and see if see if we can make it happen or not. Right? That's good, right? Okay. So a side hustle is more than just another stream of income. It's also the new job security. That's from Forbes, COVID related, of course. But whether you're a mum who wants to earn some extra income in your free time, or someone with a full-time job that's looking for a career change, or having a side hustle as well as their full-time job, it's a great way to turn your love for real food into a business. If you know what you're doing and you put in the hard work, something that starts as a side hustle could quickly transform into a full-time business that provides a better life for you and your family. Not only would a successful business mean you could get paid to do something you love every day, but it would enable you to be your own boss. You could choose the hours you work. You could decide when to take a break and never miss a social commitment or an important family moment like Bloody Book Week, which is coming up this week, to all the mums out there who have to make the costumes. And we won't miss it because we are our own bosses. Growing a side hustle into a full-time business is certainly possible, but it will take time and work on your behalf. There are two non-negotiable aspects of business that you really need to get right in order to accomplish this, and they are having an in-demand product. Your products need to be both high quality and in demand. We've done the market research. We're sure that there's a market, perfected the product so it stands out from the competition. Of course, the easiest way to ensure you have an in-demand product is to sell products from an established brand that you know already works, such as Primal Alternative. Our products are healthy, delicious, and already have an established market. In fact, 100% of Primalistas say there's definitely a market for Primal Alternative products. Loyal customers. If you want a successful bake from home business, loyal customers are crucial. It's better to first focus on building up a strong base of regular customers rather than trying to sell as many products as you can. The more customers you can get who incorporate your product into their regular diet, the higher chance of your success. Repeat business will help provide steady sales even when the economy hits a rough patch. During the corona crisis, Primalistas reported record sales, proving that even during a crisis, people's values around food don't change. One of the best things about becoming a Primalista is that you can tap into an existing market to sell your products. Plus, with a range of yummy, healthy recipes that are suitable for people with allergies and intolerances, Primal Alternative foods are suitable for vegan, paleo, low carb, low FODMAP, and grain and wheat-free diets. We've also got an online store, so you'll be able to take orders as soon as you're set up. Be clear on your why. Not listening to naysayers who say things like, nobody will pay $16.50 for a loaf of bread. Or the mean girl that's usually in between your two ears who says, oh, well, it's all right. It's worked for Rosie and Shah, but it won't work for you. So set healthy boundaries, be realistic. If you only have half a day a week to commit to your business, be realistic about that. What can you achieve in that half day? And remember, one of my favorite quotes from Denise Duffield Thomas, boundaries don't make you a bitch. So having your own business can become 24/7, 365. It can. So you need to set healthy boundaries around when you want to get back to your customers and whether you're going to take calls and when you're going to do markets and all that kind of thing. And what you'll find as part of one of the resources, one of the mindset resources, is a document called My Business Blueprint. And in that, you'll be able to design your ideal week and create your perfect schedule with everything in there that you love, including your new business, right? Let's have a look at the most common mistakes of new business owners. So starting a new business, it's an exciting journey, but it's also a very challenging one. Sadly, too many new business owners fail to perform their due diligence and quickly run into trouble. In fact, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, more than 60% shut up shop in the first 3 years. So what are the most common mistakes of new business owners, and how can you avoid them so that your business doesn't end up on the scrap heap? Let's take a look so you can steer clear of the costly errors and keep yourself on the path to success. Go in it alone. Many new business owners don't seek the help they need when starting out. Instead, they try to cover every area of their business themselves. This leads to expensive mistakes, which ultimately cost them their dream. Finding other people who can offer guidance and advice will help you enormously when you start a business. That's why I provide so many resources for every new Primalista: delicious recipes, baking demo videos, supplier and stockist information, marketing templates, sales training, and even one-on-one coaching sessions. It means you're never alone when starting out, so you can steer clear of mistakes and implement proven strategies to help grow your business. Failing to plan. I touched on this earlier, but it's very important because it can save you a lot of trouble down the line. It's far more difficult and costly to make substantial changes to your business 6 months after you register it. Come up with a clear plan for your business before you register, including what you intend to bake, who your target market is, and the number of hours you want to put in and what your budget is. A thorough business plan can help you avoid any nasty surprises and forge a clearer path to success. And that's what we'll dive into on the Primalista call as well. So yeah, before we make any offers to new Primalistas, we always do our due diligence with regards to planning. We'll examine your time, your earning potential, and check that you've got enough potential customers in your area. So that's good to know. Pricing your products incorrectly. This mistake is especially common for bake from home businesses. Been there, done it, guilty. And it's understandable because it's such a tricky subject. Pricing your products too high can scare potential customers away. Pricing them too low, and you could lose money. Pricing is very personal, and as health advocates, we sometimes feel guilty about charging for doing something that we love. In fact, I see many foodies start and quickly exit food businesses because they don't charge enough, or they give too much away, or they don't know the right cost of goods sold. They don't know the cost of goods sold equations to nail their pricing. It can be very tricky to know exactly what price to set. Very tricky. And that's why I give each new Primalista pricing guidelines. It enables them to set the optimal price for each product so they can maximize profits. I'd love to share with you the profit margins so that you can decide for yourself if you think it's a viable model for you. So as you can see here, we have two different prices. So one is a retail price. That's when we sell directly to the end customer. And the other one is the wholesale price, where we sell to a shop or a business that then sells on to a customer. So you can see here, if you're selling directly packet mixes to a customer, you're looking at around 70% gross profit. So the cost to produce in there includes your ingredients, bags, and labels. Whereas if you're selling to a shop, they take a margin. And this Primalistas, the equation used to be 50-50, right? So there would be a mixture of shops and direct customers, but Primalistas are swinging it more now. Like if you want to go where the money is, you want to be selling more directly, right? So Primalistas are now shooting for more of an 80-20 approach. So I need to rejig these tiles because that would be really interesting, wouldn't it? So cookies, as you can see, very similar pricing. Breads. Okay, that gives you an idea. And we've also just started selling product boxes. So taking out that need to order. It's so good. I have a set order every week from my Primalista. I don't have to worry about ordering. She doesn't have to worry about chasing me up for an order. Just every week, good food turns up and it's set and forget. It's so good. So we've got an essentials box and a deluxe box. Essentials boxes are $40 a box. Deluxe is 58, and the profit margins selling direct to the end customer for a box are around 75%. So if you can think of, up to 25 local families that might want to take a product box from you, you have a very cushy little business. And I've got some good slides on that as well, but I'll put together in a different presentation. All right, let's go over the membership. So you can determine if this business is suited to your budget. Plus, I want to share with you the bonuses currently on offer, not on the website, and the amazing thriving business double guarantee. All right. So the Primalista license, there's a $1,000 joining fee. And then the Primalista license is just $584 a month for 12 months. And then just $110 a month after that. Now that $110 will be increasing in the new year. So if you're thinking of joining us, I don't know the exact amount it will increase to, probably 140, maybe 150. But bear that in mind, like now would be a good opportunity to get in at that lower rate. So that includes your Primalista lifetime license and your membership, 24/7 Primalista online community access, and $2,000 worth of Primalista bonuses, which is so exciting. So the bonuses, I'll go through these more with you on the Primalista call, but you'll get health and business coaching courses worth $1,400, as well as a one-on-one session with me that you can have whenever you like. You'll get an organic fair trade apron modeled here by Primalista Buy in New South Wales, and a silicone spatula for spreading out those pizza bases. And that's me in the back of a truck at my house, unloading 1,200 Primal Alternative baking tins. So this is what is not on the website, and this is top secret and super exciting. Seriously, the baking starter kit, Primalistas have begged me to put together a baking starter kit for years. I've been, no, it's too hard, it's too hard. But here it is. And it's worth about $800 shipped to you. So you'll get 12 Primal Alternative bread tins, 2,000 compostable cellophane bags. So yay, no plastic. 260 personalized labels. So all you're going to need on top of your Primalista license is going to be your food business rego, which is about $500, depending on your council. Some councils are doing COVID reduced rates, so bear that in mind. And you're going to need your insurance, which is about $50 a month, and your first lot of ingredients, which of course you'll get your money back on when you start selling. So as you can see, low cost to start a business, low startup cost as well. Now, here's that thriving business double guarantee. So there's a 7-day cooling off guarantee. So when you join Primal Alternative, you'll have a full 7 days to try all of the materials, check out the recipes and resources, and decide if being a Primalista is for you or not. So if you look at all the recipes and resources and you think, oh, what a load of rubbish, then you can have your money back. So quite a lot of Primalistas join having never tried any of the products. No big deal, because you can try them yourself. You can try all the recipes yourself in the first week. There's also guaranteed sales in your first 3 months or your money back. So we want to ensure your business hits the ground running with the maximum possible chance of success. So if you follow our steps and don't get a sale in the first 3 months, we'll refund you the whole cost of your membership paid to date. Now, I've never had to pay anyone their money back, right? But this is really nice to know. If you've got any of those, doubts, fears, lack of confidence that's telling you, oh, what if I don't? What if it doesn't work for me, right? This will calm down those nerves, right? So the next step is to book your free 30-minute call. Let's get clear on what you're looking for. Let's see if the Primalista license can help and see if you're a good fit for Primal Alternative. We'll share all the details of the license with you, answer all the questions you've got, and if it's a good fit, we'll offer you the opportunity to join us. So head to primalalternative.com/call to check out the diary. As I mentioned at the start, we have got evening times, weekend times. We've got appointments every day of the week now. So there's no excuses about not being able to find a time that works for you. Now, final chance. We're coming to the end. Final chance to ask any questions that you have got. So please pop them in the chat box. I'm going to leave you with a quick Primalista survey, and then I will come back, answer your questions, and reveal the door prize winner. Oh, I love me some banging beats. You can see that old aerobics instructor is still in there, isn't she? Da, da, da. Oh my goodness. All right. Questions. Hit me with your questions. All right. Is there a limit on the number of primalistas in a postcode area? Michelle, no, there isn't, because there is no geographical territory with Primal Alternative. So, you know, you need to just bear in mind that perhaps in a weekly bake, you're only going to be baking maybe 80 products. You're a small batch micro baker. Probably got the capacity to serve, I don't know, 25 to 50 families a week. So think about how many people live in your area. So for example, in my town, there's 2,500 people. So Primalista Amy is probably only going to be able to service 1 to 2% of that population. Yeah, so there is a restriction on stockists. So if you come on as a Primalista, Michelle, nobody will be able to approach your stockists, right? You wouldn't want to anyway. Nobody wants to step on anyone's toes. Yeah, so there we go. So Kerry says, I'm interested to understand more. Cool. Well, I've pretty much given all the information to you right there. It's a very simple model. Basically, you get recipes and you bake them and sell them to your local community, whether that be shops or farmers markets or directly to your network. You can sell anywhere in the world with a Primalista license. And the next step is to book a call, Kerry, so we can assess how this model could work in your life based on your circumstances. If you do 1 day of baking, how much time would you need to work on the business, etc.? That's a question from Beck. It's really up to you. So one of my main sayings is work closest to the dollar. So that means, not spending too much time fluffing around doing everything else, but working closest to the dollar in terms of speaking to customers and preparing orders, So you can do as much other work, extracurricular work as you want to, but essentially, all you're going to be doing is ordering ingredients and writing your invoices, maybe a little bit of social media posting, but you just want to have good boundaries on that. I think I spend something like 20 minutes a day on Instagram, and we usually do, 2 or 3 posts a day. So it's really, I would really recommend the clustering. So, joining similar activities together, Beck. So if you want to, bake, definitely do all your baking on one day. Have set bake days. Don't turn the oven on every time somebody asks for a loaf of bread. Say, yep, that's awesome. I'll put your order in with my bake, which is on Tuesday, and do all of your orders together. Then I would do all my invoices together. I would do all my ordering together. Does that answer the question? So there's not a lot of other work outside of it. Kath, can you pay the membership up front? And if so, is there a discount for this? Kath, you can pay the membership up front. I used to have an upfront option, but the majority of people go for the payment plan. So yes, you can pay it up front. There's already a discount applied to the payment plan situation at the moment. So there's no additional discount. And in fact, the license is at one of the best prices it's ever been, at the best price it's ever been, with the new bonuses, like the $800 baking starter kit is incredible. It's so good. So really, really cuts down the startup costs of your business. So yeah, Kath, you can pay up front. Absolutely. We would just give you the Primal Alternative bank details to do a direct EFT, and then you would just pay the $110 a month membership. Are you able to on-sell to someone else? So does that mean, are you able to sell the license? We're looking at moving to a farm in another town in 8 to 10 years. If I've established a business here with stockists and the like, is someone able to take over what I've worked hard to establish? That's a good question. No, is the answer. So because the license has got such a low startup, such a low cost, it's not viable to sell the license onto somebody else. So the license is really more, I see it more as a course and a coaching program to give somebody the right skills to be able to produce Primal Alternative products and have a successful business doing it. So therefore, each Primalista needs to go through the course themselves, get the support from myself, and have their own individual license to sell the products. So what you can do is if you find somebody in your local area that wants to take on what you've got, you can refer them to Primal Alternative. They'll go through the call process. If they're a good fit, you will get commission for referring that Primalista. So you get $250 commission. But a lot of Primalistas are transitional. It's this stage in our lives, isn't it? We might be moving back there, or moving to the country, or moving to a smaller place. And for most people, that this model appeals because you can take it with you, right? So you've already, you all that hard work you've done, all you need to do is just to find a new market to sell it to. But you'll still got all your equipment, all your experience, your social media channels, whatever else you've developed around your business. You can pick it up and take it with you. And the only thing to consider is that when you move, you'll need to get your new kitchen approved in the new town. How do you deal with Google and social media naysayers and negative remarks posted? Oh, why do those people do that? Seriously? To be honest, I don't get a lot of them. And I think that, you get the odd one, delete and block. Like, seriously, it just comes down to boundaries. And, in the beginning, I used to get quite a lot of posts, $16.50 for a loaf of bread. But then when you just use it as an opportunity to educate people, and I would never kind of like, even though inside you might be going, you know? And, you know, you'll get customers like Primalista Avni. She had some of her sunflower seeds weren't milled properly and it went green in one of her loaves. And the customer thought it was mold, but it wasn't. It was just the sunflower seeds react with the bicarb sometimes if they're not milled properly. And there's just this chunk that wasn't properly milled. And she was like, oh no, it's so, you know. And so she posted in the group and she had like her 5-minute pity party. And we all held her space for her and supported her and, you know, consoled her and said, oh, we've been there, done that. And, you know, yeah. And she was so grateful. And, you know, when you're not winning, you're learning, right? So she learned something that day. And, you know, you can get like, so say, for example, the ratio of nice comments to those negative remarks and naysayers, it's probably like 100 nice ones and 1 bad one. But you can read all of the nice ones. And for some reason, it's just like something going blah, 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 blah. Like it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit as much as a negative one, right? And that's actually how we're wired. We're, you know, if we just went, oh, I've got a nice comment, I'll just sit back on my laurels. We would never have progressed as a species, you know? So it's okay to get negative feedback. And you know, when I do and it triggers me, I have to ask, where's the lesson in this? Where's the lesson? And there usually is one. But to not go on social media for the fear of that, that's not going to help either. So you've just got to go out there. And the thing is, when you've got the blurbs, you can cut and paste. When you've got beautiful photos like this, you can put it there. When you can come into the bosom of the Primalista Facebook group and go, meh, you know, it's not as horrible as doing it on your own. Does that make sense? Beck says that's right. Keep on top of them, educate. The customer is right. Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, we would never be, you know, like putting the onus on them. I can't believe you've made that comment. I'm just a small business trying to make a living. You know, none of that. Just be like, thanks for your comment. Did you know that our $16.50 bread isn't actually bread at all because it doesn't contain yeast or wheat flour or water. It contains zucchini and organic coconut flour and hemp seeds and free-range eggs, which are, as you will appreciate, much more expensive to buy. Yeah. All right. What seem to be the best-selling products and the not good sellers? Does it vary greatly by location? Again, it's a hard one to say because we don't do any sales reporting. What I go from in terms of the best-selling products is the shop, the online shop, which is Australia-wide. So I like to see what's selling, what's best selling on there. This month's bestsellers are the new brownies. No surprise there because they are good. Has anyone tried the brownies yet? My goodness, they are. You literally rip off the top of the packet, add, what do you add again? Butter, eggs, and then 15 minutes later, warm brownies. Yay. 10 seconds to stir it. They're like so good. So there is a list of our best-selling products. So our best-selling products, fat and seedy bread, fat and seedy pizzas, triple choc keto cookies, choc chip cookies. So when you get into the resources, there are some ideas. If you don't want to make the whole range, there are some ideas of, you know, you could go with the original range. You could go with the best-selling range. I know where I'd start, Michelle. Do you know what I mean? You could do the vegan range, the low carb range. Yeah, there's lots of different options. Or if you're going to be stockist led, you know, you would go with what they want to order, right? So it's very good, very up to you. You know, we work out your version of success. How do you want this to look? What's it going to be worthwhile to you? And take it from there. Any final questions? Let me know. That's the last slide. Look at that. The door prize winner. Thanks for all waiting to the end. So I went slightly over an hour, but you know, who's counting? And I'm going to randomly select Hillary Goff is my lucky door prize winner. Yay, Hillary. Congratulations. You are the lucky door prize winner. So what I'd love you to do, please, Hillary, door prize winner, is send me an email to info@primalalternative.com. Oh, wow. Thank you. So info@primalalternative.com with your address and your postcode and your mobile number. So the Primalistas can get in touch with you to either drop it off or let you know when to expect it in the post. And we will get something on its marvelous way to you, Hilary. Any final questions before we wrap this show up? Let me know. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Remember, the next step is to book a call, primalalternative.com/call. And we've got times this week. Did I tell you we've got evenings and weekends? It's so cool. It's so good. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, that seems to be the end of the questions. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks again, everybody, for showing up. Thanks to you for watching the replay. I hope this has been helpful. And I really hope it's inspired you to take action on your idea, your vision. Thanks, everybody, for being here.